This week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by Hack the Movies special episode reviewing Tomorrow Never Dies, the greatest in the James Bond franchise after Goldfinger, Goldeneye, The Man with the Golden Gun, Skyfall.
Like all the gold ones?
I'm just going to list out all the James Bond movies. Check it out. There is a very, very handsome man on that episode, and also Tony is there. So go check it out on the Hack the Movies YouTube channel, available now. To Here's What I Don't Get, from north to south, east to west, the only intercontinental podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues and the longest consecutively running podcast on the See You Next Tuesday podcast network and the Carl podcast network. I am your host, Tab Burton, the most dangerous city in America, and with me today, he starred in Batman. That's right, it's Tony from Hack the Movies.
Excuse me, I starred in The Dark Knight Rises. I did not star in Batman from 1989. That would have been a little hard to do. I was still in my mother's womb, I think, when that was coming out.
Look, we should just erase all of those Burton Schumacher movies and just call The Dark Knight Batman. Batman begins, Batman ends.
Well, I mean, The Flash kind of erased it, so not to spoil too much.
It's okay, Tony. Nobody's going to go see that movie.
My review comes out next week. I actually, on Twitter yesterday, I was like, I feel like I should get like a reward. I saw the movie early and I haven't said shit about it. Yeah. Everyone else spoiled the movie. I'm like, I didn't even tell people if I liked it or not. Yeah. Tomorrow Never Dies is out. Someone brought up a good point. We made like several Seinfeld references and neither of us referenced that Terry Hatcher was in Seinfeld. With the boobs, the real and spectacular.
They're real and they're
boobs.
spectacular. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, somehow that went over our heads, but we did all the other ones.
I'm more interested in her as Lois Lane in The Adventures of Lois and Clark than I am
right.
When she was in Seinfeld. She's in like 2 episodes. She's in her episode and the finale.
That's true. Yeah. But still, just a heads up. You know how like when James Bond turned off Elliot Carver's signal and ruined his whole thing?
Yeah.
At any moment, I could disappear from this episode because my internet's been so shit for 2 weeks and I can't get a technician to come out till Thursday. It's running fine now. Everything seems to be fine now.
Well, keep your fingers crossed, everybody.
I went to a live stream on Twitch the other day. It took me 5 times to get it started, and then it killed me 40 minutes in. So, hopefully everything is fine now.
That's embarrassing. It's 2023. People should have, reliable internet anywhere in the continental United States, basically.
Yeah.
Last week, Tim and Truckin' and Tuckin' came to town. We spent the week gallivanting. Wednesday night, I had a bunch of, people that I work with and some friends out here and those two, and we sat around a fire and drank and talked about movies and grilled steaks. Had just a great time. It was
wait, you talked about movies?
We did talk about movies.
Fucking loser. Keep going.
We drank an outrageous amount of beer. So we had a 10 a.m. brunch staff meeting the next day.
Yeah.
And
fun.
3/4 of the staff was at the party the night before.
Well, did you hear what happened to me in Florida? I hung out with Royce from Revenge of the Sis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out to karaoke. He conspired with the bartender to get me way drunker than I had planned. I asked for double shots. They gave me quadruples. And then I asked for water because I could tell I was getting way too drunk. And they gave me a Bud Light.
That's funny.
They gave me a Bud Light, and then he tweeted that I was gay, and then people started photoshopping me with a Bud Light into pride parades. This is the first time I could think of in my 30s that I had to throw up the next day from drinking. I don't think I've done that since my early 20s, in college.
You're not drinking enough.
I'm not drinking enough. But the problem was, I I didn't really have a lot in my stomach, so I was just kind of dry heaving into a toilet bowl. It was like the worst.
That's the throwing up of champions right there, Tony. Anyway.
But I managed to sing all 3 songs I had planned, so that worked out.
That's good. So we get to our 10 a.m. brunch meeting, and the ATD, he gets there. He got to the party late because he had to work, not at my work, but at like a side hustle he has going on.
Yeah.
And so he's very, very like hungover, not having a good time. Meanwhile, my boss and I both combined probably, I think, she had drank at least like a bottle of rosé, if not more, and I drank probably like 18 beers. And we're fine, and we're like, "How much did you have to drink last night, guy?" And he goes, "I had an embarrassing amount to drink." I'm like, I don't remember you drinking. I had 2 beers, 2 beers, and you're like, and he's like sitting there at the table, like, like about to fall over. It was fucking funny.
I like didn't start like really drinking again until this year, and man, my tolerance is so gone. Like it's bad. Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
I didn't get to drink enough at the live show. My brother-in-law was making fun of me the whole time. It's because I was, like, sick the days leading up to it, so I didn't really... I was sick. Apparently, I got dick sick. But yeah, I just wasn't ready. And then, meanwhile, I go to Florida for a karaoke, and I get absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah, you got to reprioritize your life, my friend.
I know, I do.
I've been back in the studio also this week, or last week and this week. I started classes again and fucking around with glass. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. Friday, I've been hired to go narrate another artist demoing a piece, so I get to just stand there and watch what they're doing and tell a crowd of people what they're doing. Like, hey, that guy's making something cool. Fucking check it out. I can look over there. So that'll be cool. I haven't gotten to do that, but I'll get to do that now more and more. And I'm good at talking to people, and I like glass. So, bam.
You talk to people?
I don't talk to people a lot, but I do. I can't talk for a while. So
okay. I guess what else happened to me? I guess it'll tie into the previous story and my problem coming up. But I had like my first real vacation since maybe 2019, and even that I turned into a business trip. So this is like my first real vacation in years and years and years and years and years. So that was fun. I went with a bunch of middle-aged to elderly women. Mm-hmm. So it was my mom, my grandma. No, I did not sleep with my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, my grandmother's cousin, my grandmother's cousin's daughter.
What a loser.
Look, it was a free trip. They said we're good. We have the place.
Not for going with them, for not sleeping with anyone, you loser.
But it was real funny.
Seal that deal, Tony.
So I had to I kept going to hang out with Royce and doing my own thing. And at one time we're all having dinner, and they're like, "Tony, you're so quiet." And I was like, "Guys, I don't know how to join in the adult diaper / another one of my friends died conversation. Look, when you guys say something relatable, I'll try to participate, but I'm out of my element here. I don't know what else."
I was sitting at lunch with a couple of guys that I work with today, and we're roughly the same age, and one of them goes like, "Yeah, I can't do such and such anymore because it makes my back hurt." So I got it, and I'm like, "Gee, we're having an old man conversation. Talk about something interesting. Talk about your hobbies. Fuck off with this."
Old people don't have hobbies. That's what I'm learning. A lot of them just don't have hobbies.
Truckin' and Tuckin' has cursed me with he bought me Skyrim the board game, which I discovered when I was existed when I was in Portland, and now I own Skyrim the board game and the miniatures expansion pack.
So it wasn't enough to play Skyrim.
I haven't even played yet. I spent an hour reading the manual to try and figure out how the fuck the game works. It's a single-player board game, too. You can play with 4 players. You can play by yourself. I'm fucking play with
that. Reminds me, years ago, I was playing Skyrim VR, which I still have, but then, I took too long of a break, and when I jumped back into it, I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing or where it was. I'm like, I should really restart that at some point.
Yeah.
Ugh,
but then you have to sit through that terrible opening sequence.
Yeah. But it feels like you're there with the headset. It feels like you're there, Tab.
It feels like I'm there just staring at my Switch. My brain, I'm visiting this realm. I live in Tamriel. That's where my brain is.
Okay.
Put my brain in the pod. Speaking of pods,
Yes.
have you been hearing about this submarine that sank trying to discover the Titanic again?
Yes, I have. I have heard about it.
Do you feel any sympathy for these fucking losers?
Phew, of course I do. I care about them so much, Tab. As you know, I'm a very famous, important YouTuber, so I have to say things like it was totally reasonable to spend $200,000 in a tiny sub, and go down to the ocean floor, and I hope they all get back. And it definitely wasn't the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm definitely not off camera going, well, what a bunch of idiots. I'm not doing that, Tab. I'm actually praying off camera for those poor souls.
I'm
What
praying
about
that
you?
their desiccated corpse show back up at the inside their little stupid pod. And apparently, with the
Jesus Christ.
electronic problems they've been having, the pod's just been playing Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" since they started having issues. So I just imagine like that song is playing, and they open up the pod, and their body's just like one guy's half eaten.
Yeah, it didn't help that they had a Twitter account. It's like, we have internet under the ocean thanks to Starlink. Oops.
Yeah, this is like one of those monumentally bad ideas. Like, you know, we all have that like redneck uncle or whatever who straps some fireworks onto an ATV and then goes like, I got a military vehicle. Let's go ride around in the field. And then he like fucking rolls it over and breaks his leg. And you got to rush his ass to the hospital. You know, we've all had a situation like that happen in our lives of colossally stupid ideas.
Yeah.
There are so many colossally stupid ideas that had to like be implemented before these 5 people packed themselves up into a little more than a soda can to go to the bottom of the ocean to look at a sunken ship that sunk 100 years ago and people give a shit about for absolutely no reason.
They made several movies about it.
And musicals.
And musicals.
Yeah, don't forget the musicals.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if there was like an actual sub like attached to like a ship, kind of like, you know, the ones James Cameron takes. I feel like maybe I'd feel a little safer in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it was for a purpose other than vanity.
Yeah.
Like, this is just rich people being like, I'm rich. I can go to the bottom of the ocean. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Like, sure, would it be cool to see the Titanic? I guess, but I mean, I don't feel like going through all the steps to get there, to be honest.
No kidding.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I hope they all get out of there, Tab. We should all say a prayer for them.
Okay.
I don't have any prayers.
This isn't the prayer group version of the show. You'll have to talk to Buck and Chaco for proper prayer protocol. Because I got to be honest with you, I don't even know how you start those things.
But yeah, I was reading that. I'm just like, this didn't seem like the most safest thing. I just want to say that. It just didn't seem like the most safest thing.
Someone posted like a 60-second clip from some news article that was about it, and they're like, yeah, this submarine, everything looks really janky. He's like, yeah, I bought this thing at Harbor Freight, this thing from Camping World. We just slapped this bitch on the side of that, and we're running it with this fucking Logitech controller we got it. Not even a wired controller. A fucking wireless controller they got on Amazon. Like, holy shit,
The weird thing is, I saw some people posting about that, and it's like, apparently, like, that's a common thing. People like man tanks and stuff with like freaking Logitech controllers. And I'm like, and they're like, it's actually pretty common. I'm like, well, now I'm worried about more things.
Yeah, it's super duper common because these things all have open drivers, so you can just install them on anything. I don't know. That's a good idea. And also, any gamer is going to tell you, regardless of whether or not they're correct or incorrect, you got to have a wired keyboard and mouse because, you know, the latency in the 2.4 gigahertz isn't fast enough to get all your shit through. And yet these guys are like, yeah, we're going to put our lives at risk. No reason to plug in a USB. Anyway.
What happened? Like, what do they know what happened? Like, why it lost signal or?
Their egos blocked out the Starlink link up, and then the thing went off course. Crashed into a Stargate under the sea.
Did they at least get to see the Titanic? Like, did that make it worth
I
it?
think they are only seeing the Titanic And they're, as they took their final breath, they're looking at their little porthole, just be like, "That shit's history, and now we are too." There's
Jesus.
in 80 years, there's gonna be a movie about like how they fell in love inside the tank, and then someone got out and threw a shoe into the ocean.
I saw they said they had like 40 something hours of air left, but like that's assuming like these aren't like divers or they're not really trained. That's assuming that they're not panicking and screaming and wasting all the oxygen. They're probably already gone, to be honest.
Yeah, probably just imploded, just like a soda can.
I'm interested to see what happened.
I'm not. I could not care less about these people. It's just one of those news stories that just like forced its way into my life, and I'm like, thank you, appreciate that. Appreciate having to think about that for the next 3 days.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. I keep forgetting about it until someone posts a meme or something.
All right, well, let's get into some issues before your internet goes bad. What do you not get this week, Tony?
Okay, here's what I don't get. Universal Studios making attractions based off not that good of movies. So I went to Universal Studios for the first time since 2007. It used to be my favorite theme park. I used to love it because I'm a big movie guy and riding the movies is a lot of fun.
Just like the movies. Remember that?
Just like,
that scene
just
in
like
Indiana
the
Jones?
Yeah.
That's like the only movie that you could turn into a roller coaster believably.
So I went to the one. I've only ever been to the one in Orlando. I don't know what the one in L.A. is like, and obviously I've never been to the Japan one or anything like that. So I was real excited to visit. I did the Islands of Adventure first, which was still fun. They still have. It actually is funny. The whole Marvel Island. It's like, man, I did a whole, like, I don't know if you saw that whole tweet thread I did where I pretended to be someone who only knew these characters from the movies. I'm like walking through it. It was actually kind of refreshing being in the Marvel land because I'm like, it's all like the pre-2000s Marvel stuff that I grew up with. So that was actually pretty cool, fun nostalgia trip. Jurassic Park is still fun. That Velocicoaster is the scariest thing I've ever been on, Tab.
Yeah.
Are you a roller coaster guy?
I like roller coasters.
Dude, you only have a lap bar, and it does so many loops and twists, and it feels like you're falling out of it. Like, I had to Google it afterwards, because I'm like, did I just almost fall out of this goddamn thing? I think I almost just died, and apparently it's called airtime. Like, it's like you're 100% safe, but in the moment...
It's exciting.
Yeah, my mom cursed the entire time. I think she frightened a bunch of kids, because she literally thought she was dying.
I thought it was going to be scary because that redheaded lady from the Jurassic Park 5 movies was going to be there and be like lecturing you about like environmentalism or something stupid.
No, because in the ride it's still set in the first Jurassic World. So she's all business lady and she loves it. And Chris Pratt's on the TV screen going, "This is a bad idea." Anyway, so that's all fun. Even Harry Potter Land, which I don't care about Harry Potter at all. I will say they did a good job recreating that, and even like I didn't go on the roller coaster, but I went on the two like kind of like virtual-ish kind of rides. Those were fun.
I can't believe you would support an area of a theme park based on that's by a book written by a TERF.
You know what was weird? Because I am very based, okay, and it was Pride Month. I'm like, I need to go one place that's not woke. Harry Potter Land. But when I was in there, all I kept thinking, all I kept saying, I kept calling everything gay. I don't know what happened. I was just like, clearly I won't have any pride agenda here. And then I walked in Harry Potter Land and I went, well, that's gay. That's gay. And then Tab, I got arrested for saying gay in Florida. It was crazy. So then I go to the actual Universal Studios the next day. And right off the bat, we've got a problem, Tab. Have you ever been to this park?
No, I've never been to Universal Studios.
Okay, so when you first walk in, it's got these big fake 2D backdrops that make it look like there's a big city in front of you. And then like as you get closer, you realize they're all 2D, and it's like a fun thing. They ruined it by putting a giant cardboard cutout of Jimmy Fallon in front of it. Why? Because he has a ride. I refuse to go on his ride. But they decided that the building that his ride is attached to, they decided they needed a giant Jimmy Fallon to just completely ruin the skyline. They also added a roller coaster that kind of cuts into it. The roller coaster is fun, but I wish it didn't cut into the whole thing. So that sucked. Nickelodeon Studios has been gone for a long time, Tap. Long time.
Yeah.
And in its place now is the Despicable Me ride. And then I looked around the park. They are, because Universal, I guess, owns a
Minions?
Imagineer.
Yeah.
What is it? Yes. That whole studio, that's turning into the whatever land. There's Minions everywhere. It's all Despicable Me stuff and all their other like animated things. Down the street, they're building the Mario one. Like the one that I actually would want to see is not going to be there. So yeah, then I go on the Mummy ride. That one's fun. Then I go on the Transformers ride, and I was like, wait a minute. These rides. So back in the day, you had the Back to the Future ride, the Jaws ride, the King Kong ride. It's like, oh yeah, we used to have rides based off really popular movies that were also good. Now we have rides based off just really popular movies that aren't very good. It's like, okay, I like the first Transformers, but this is all about the second and third one. And then across from that, you have the Fast and Furious ride, where you're on a bus and
What?
you get to you're on a bus and it basically wheels you into like a big TV screen room, and it looks like you're on the highway, and Vin Diesel's like hanging off a helicopter. He's like, whoa, it's so stupid.
Family.
Yeah, he's like, family. But yeah, I'm walking through the thing and I'm like, oh, this is kind of a bummer. Like, I wish they had these rides for like good movies. The only original ride they have from opening day is E.T. They've gotten rid of all the Roger Rabbit stuff, all the Toon stuff. That's now turning into more Minion shit. So that kind of bummed me out. Like, I wanted to see like rides based off good movies, not just popular movies. I don't know. Would you be bummed walking into Universal Studios and seeing Minions everywhere?
I'm kind of. I don't think I'd ever want to go to Universal Studios anymore. Like you said, when I thought about wanting to go to Universal Studios as a kid, it was when there was Back to the Future the ride, or like T2, Travel Across Time, or like stuff that I recognize, like Fast and Furious. Maybe, I guess I do like that franchise, but like Transformers, I got bored of after 3 movies or however many movies in they got, and then now I don't care about these fucking franchises anymore. I couldn't care less about these franchises.
Yeah. I mean, the Back to the Future turned into The Simpsons, and it's basically like the same thing. But yeah, Terminator's gone. It's now the Jason Bourne Stuntacular, which is actually not bad. But like, it's like, oh, okay, that's something, I guess. But yeah, I couldn't get in, and like, I liked being on Men in Black, but who knows what the fuck they're gonna change that to, like next week.
And that's my other question: do they like build a new roller coaster? They just like just slap a coat of yellow and blue paint on this roller coaster and go, oh, it's Despicable Me Land now.
Well, I don't know, the Harry Potter coaster, I'm pretty sure that was the Dueling Dragons coaster, so I wonder if they just repurposed that. I'm not sure. I don't know. It was just kind of like a letdown walking through it. It's like, oh, I miss rides based off good movies. Yeah, kind of took the magic out of it. I understand you got to keep updating your park for like more relevant movies. Like there hasn't been a Back to the Future since 1980, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, they still make like good movies once in a while. Can we make a ride for them, something that's good and popular? Instead, it's just like, no, you got to hang out with The Rock and Vin Diesel and drive on a highway and look at fake cars. That's
John
awesome.
Cena.
Yeah, I don't think he was Now, this ride was clearly like from like part 7 or something, because The Rock was. I know The Rock is coming back, but The Rock was still there.
Yeah, I watched Fast X last night, and I gotta say, I loved it. I thought it started out, and I was like, "This movie is super dumb. This movie is so dumb." I did not care for the last Fast and Furious movie, but by like midway through the movie, I was really kind of buying what was going on, and I was enjoying it. And by the end, I was like, "Man, I think I have to go see Fast and Furious 11 in theaters."
Yeah, that's how I felt when I finally watched Hobbs and Shaw in Part 8. I was just like, wait. I stopped watching these movies because they were kind of stupid, but now they're my kind of ridiculous stupid. I got to see what I missed. Because what was it, like 2 and 3? I feel like 2 is just so digital, and I'm like, nah, this sucks. And I don't even remember 3.
3 is pretty forgettable. It's
Yeah.
It 5.
5 is when 5 I hear
through
is
the end is like that's the actual continuity of what's happening. You can kind of forget the first 3.
yeah. I heard 5 is like when it got like good because I remember seeing trailers for 4 and it looked like a cartoon half of it. It is funny to think that like this franchise that just started as a Point Break ripoff is still going and has all these. It has like a tie-in TV show and everything. Meanwhile, Point Break only had 1 movie and then they remade it and no one fucking saw the remake. But the ripoff of Point Break is doing super well. But yeah, that's my complaint. I just wish Universal Studios had like more attractions based off good movies. It would be nice.
Yeah, I don't get the like branding. I understand why they brand these roller coasters and whatnot. They do it because it's they do it to try and cover up and draw people into something with something that they recognize instead of making something interesting. Because how are you can't really advertise a roller coaster like, hey, check out this roller coaster. It does like 3 loop-de-loops and then you go through this like spiral deal. Yeah, it doesn't really work. But if it's like, check out the Hulk ride. It's green. Yeah. You ride like the Hulk. The things are shaped like fists. You're like, I'll go fucking check it out. But even so, I think people just go to theme parks because they like going to theme parks. Like you don't really need the tie-in. I guess that's that's the gimmick. The gimmick is all the movies. And as adults who have grown to more and more hate modern film, it's like as they have to update that stuff because they have 13-year-olds showing up and they're like, "What's a DeLorean? Oh, I don't understand."
Yeah, the train and the DeLorean are still there. They have them on display, but the whole ride's gone. Yeah, you know it was weird. The Spider-Man ride, it's still the same. Like all it's the same set, the same like pre-video, but they updated the graphics of the ride itself. So all throughout the ride, you're looking at videos, or all through the line, you're looking at video screens, and all the characters look like they do in the old cartoon. But then when you get on the ride, they made Dr. Octopus look like he does in the movies. It's real jarring. But other than that, great ride.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't think I'll ever. I don't really have any interest in going to Universal Studios over other theme parks that might be less.
You might be a Busch Gardens guy.
Me. Yeah.
I feel like you'd be a Busch Gardens guy. He can get drunk as shit and just go on roller coasters all day long.
There's a place out kind of, it's in southern Missouri called Silver Dollar City, and it's like a Old West themed place.
Yeah.
And they've really kept to that aesthetic, and so they have a more modern roller coaster. I think they call it a 4D coaster because it has like your cart moves in a rotation as the whole thing goes through.
Oh, okay.
And to make it like up and cool and hip, they made it steampunky and they call it the time traveler. It's like covered in gears and clockwork and shit. But it was fun. I mean, we went a couple of years ago for Truckin' and Tuckin's birthday and rode all the rides a couple of times, and a lot of them were fun and a lot of them were some of them were lame, but I'd much rather go somewhere like that than like Disney adults. Disney adults are by far the worst kind of adults, where it's like I need this corporate product to be able to enjoy riding on a roller coaster. It's like, you can't just get over like the thrill of riding a roller coaster.
Yeah. I went to Disney a few years ago. I didn't go on a lot of the cool rides. The person I was with couldn't do like roller coasters and shit. Mm-hmm. But I'm fine if I don't go to Disney for a very long time. I was like, okay, this is still kind of lame. I mean, I got to see the Hall of Presidents when it was perfect, Tab, and then they've ruined the Hall of Presidents recently.
Did they, by adding Trump to it?
No. That's when it was perfect.
Oh, by adding Joe Biden to it.
By the way, I don't know who was animating Trump's animatronic, but they made him look like he was lost the whole time. Like he would just randomly I mean, they're all supposed to be moving a little bit, but the Trump one just stood so awkwardly. He was just looking around, Just like, I'm like, wow, they really had it out for him, didn't they?
They probably loaded the wrong profile into. Like, that was the Joe Biden profile they had ready to go.
I do like, I don't know if you ever see what the animatronic looked like. A lot of people were like, I feel like they started building it for Hillary and then they gave it a different thing. Like, it kind of looks, it doesn't look anything like Trump, but it's like, I can see this kind of looks like Hillary.
That's funny.
That's like classic, remember the Michael Keaton Jack Frost movie?
I vaguely
Where
remember
he's the
that
snowman?
was a thing. Yeah.
They started building that snowman for George Clooney. So the snowman kind of looks like George Clooney, but they added Michael Keaton's eyebrows to it. That was the funny thing. George Clooney left that project to be in Batman and Robin, and then they got Michael Keaton to be the snowman.
Well, as long as we have one Batman, we might as well get the other one.
Yeah.
I don't really think that snowman looks like anything. I think it kind of just looks like a lump.
Yeah, but it kind of looks like 90s George Clooney. But they started making it for him, basically. And then they were like, fuck, we've already gotten this far. Let's just give it Michael Keaton's eyebrows. Now it's Michael Keaton.
Do you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. I'll have a lot to say about that movie on the 26th.
I cannot believe they like brought that line back as if that because it's like what are some memorable quotes from Batman, because Batman is a secondary character in that film. And they're like, I remember that time he says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts," and they wax the steel platter, or they like wax the fireplace with the fireplace poker. What if he said that again? Because it's between that and I'm Batman.
Which he says.
I guess he could have said, "How much do you weigh?"
Actually, Tab, okay, without spoilers, he does say that.
So they're just like, they just mine the whole script and they're like, what does he say next? All right, put that in this movie.
But, like, it's not as funny because it's not as misogynistic because he's not shaming a woman for lying about her weight. But he does ask someone how much they weigh.
Tony, he wasn't shaming a woman. He was holding a reporter accountable for false reporting.
That's true. Although she was a photojournalist, so I don't know.
Yeah, photojournalists still have to take ethics and journalism classes. They should know. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that's so funny. You pull out that line. I'm like, no, it's 100%. He does say, how much do you weigh?
Those are the only three things he says as Batman that are, or that he says in that movie that are memorable.
Well, remember the second movie? He said, eat floor.
He says that?
Yeah, he tells Catwoman to eat floor, and then he goes, high fiber. He doesn't say that in The Flash. I guess that wasn't memorable enough to repeat in The Flash.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the middle of our episode, which means it's time for...
This episode is brought to you in part by the Ricada News Network. Definitely not fake news.
I need to relaunch my browser to make it stop buffering, so I will be back.
I was going to say, I thought maybe it was just me, but you would freeze and then you'd speed up real quick.
Yeah. It's been happening for like the last month. I can't figure out what changed.
It's the Matrix, man. The Matrix is after me. It's after you.
Apparently. All right, here we go.
Me, you, and the Tate brothers. We're all being attacked by the Matrix. Oh, God. Oh, God, he died. He died. It's just me. Oh, no. I don't know how to be entertaining. Oh, God. What do I do? I guess if you're in the chat, let me know what your star sign is. I'll read your horoscope. How about that? Until Tab comes back. Well, let me know. Oh, good, you're back. Oh, thank God. I asked the chat if they would just give me their star sign and I'll read their horoscope until you get back. Oh, thank God you came back.
So I turned off that setting because it was doing some issues. Now I'm at 100% CPU usage. So, that's fucking perfect.
Awesome.
To run a fucking browser. I'm really getting tired of these browsers that are fucking so packed to the rafters with bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I almost need to run a stripped down browser just to do this show and then run this browser for the rest of the time. What the fuck, man?
So you got your news. Oh, for a minute I thought you froze. You're just being
I'm
incredibly
reading.
still.
Well, let's see if it keeps ramping. I can limp through and read this news. All right. This news story comes to us from our friend Gangrenously.
Okay.
It's one of those news stories where you read it and you're like, why wasn't that already illegal? The Netherlands is making a bold act this month.
Okay.
They are going to make necrophilia and sexual acts with deceased persons punishable by law.
Okay.
Mr. Dilan Yeskilagos of Justice and Security and Ari Bruins Slot of Home Affairs said in a letter to Parliament on Tuesday, the ban includes the producing of sexual images of and with the body. We believe a clear signal should be sent that this behavior, but also very radical forms of physical desecration, are not accepted by our society. The suffering that can inflict on surviving relatives is great.
Wait, pictures of it or just the act
Yeah.
altogether, including pictures?
The act and the pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, they finally like went through and were like, yeah, you guys can't fuck corpses anymore. Like something that everyone kind of figured out decades and
Yeah, I was
centuries
going to
ago.
say, wait, how is this not already illegal? And how much of a problem is it that they're now being like, we got to do something about this?
That's a really, really good question. What the fuck are they doing over there?
Why? I'm more concerned that it wasn't already illegal. But now I'm also thinking of like, how bad did it get that they were like, okay, even for us, this has to stop.
Yeah, that was just a bridge too far, Daryl. You can't go doing that stuff again.
Look, they're like, look, 3 or 4 times a year, 3 or 4 cases a year, okay, but 1,000, okay, we're getting a little carried away.
Yeah, you got to figure that there's a guy that did, he knows the guy that made this rule law, and he's like, well, fucking ruin it for all of us. We had a good thing going here. We told you not to do that, and you went and did it. Now they're fucking outlawed it for everyone.
If it wasn't illegal, what happens if you caught someone?
You sprayed him with a spray bottle. You get right off that dead body.
Like, what did the family do? Just give him a stern talking to? Like,
Donnie Pfister, get the fuck out of here with your fucking weird hair fetish bullshit. Goddamn X-Files character. Yeah. We got a story here from Oregon, back in the United States. A man was convicted by an Oregon jury for crimes committed in 2018 that involved booby-trapping a home that resulted in an FBI agent being shot by one of the makeshift devices. 71-year-old Gregory Lee Rodvelt was found guilty of assaulting a federal officer and using and discharging a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence, according to the United States Attorney's Office, District of Oregon. Court documents stated in 2018, Oregon State Police and the FBI discovered the homemade traps when they went to a property formerly owned by Rodvelt that he lost in a lawsuit. When Rodvelt learned a receiver, an official meant to care for the seized home, was appointed to sell the property, he reportedly set up booby traps that would make Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin proud.
did you add that?
No, that's in the story.
Oh my god.
He had a minivan that blocked the home's gate. The FBI...
By the way, if I'm Macaulay Culkin, I'd be like, hey, could you cut out that part that said I'd be proud of a guy who killed someone? Could you at least use my character's name and not my actual name?
The FBI bomb technicians found steel animal traps affixed under the hood of the minivan, as well as 2 gate posts. Homemade spike strips were found, which had been previously been run over by the receiver. The FBI agents neared the home, and they saw a hot tub that was placed on its side. The whirlpool was rigged so when the gate opened, it would mechanically trigger the tub to roll towards the person who opened the gate.
Oh my god.
In the garage, they found a rat trap that was modified to accept a shotgun shell. The trap was connected to the main garage door so it would be fired when the door was open. Along with barred windows and security doors, the front and back door of the house, the front door appeared to have bullet holes from shots fired from inside the home. After technicians breached the front door with explosives, they found a wheelchair in the center of the entryway, and when the wheelchair was bumped, it triggered a homemade shotgun device that shot an FBI bomb technician below the knee with a .410 caliber round. Oof. He faces up to 20 years in federal prison for assaulting federal officer with a deadly, dangerous weapon. You know, we live in a world of like defund the police and all this shit. Here come the cops trying to steal a man's property. He defends it against them in a unique and interesting way, and he's going to go to jail for 20 years. Absolutely ridiculous.
You know what? This is literally the only reason booby traps are illegal, because I tried to look it up, and they're like, oh, you could hurt someone innocent or something. It's like, no, it's because it's because you want to arrest people and you don't want things getting in your way. Like, let's not like beat around the bush here. Like, come on.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah. And there's some like cities that are pretty bad right now. I would want to booby trap my house, but now you can. So annoying.
I gotta wonder, like, like Mark Rober, right? He has those videos where he had the steal a package and the glitter bomb deal. Like,
yeah.
Is that a booby trap?
Yeah, I don't know. Where does that fall into things? Those videos are hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're all staged. Now, like I have like some folding chairs and stuff on the front porch. Now, if one of those were just old and rickety, and I know that that's the old rickety chair.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I don't sit in that chair. That's the chair you can put packages in. But someone were to sit in it who was trying to like do something untoward towards my home, and it collapsed on them, and then like let's say impaled them in the butt. Is that a booby trap? Like, it wasn't planned to impale you in the butt. It just happened to impale you in the butt, and I don't feel bad.
I think it has to be like you purposely did that. I mean, sure, you could probably leave a chair out that might break. You might know it's going to break and just not care. But, like, I feel like the intent was I want someone to sit on this and get hurt. I think that is what makes it a booby trap. Instead of just like, I don't know, this chair doesn't look too good. Good luck to whoever sits on it. I don't think that counts.
Good luck, shithead.
I feel like you should be able to put a sign on your door, just say, this house is booby trapped.
Yeah, that should just waive it. Yeah, you were not invited in. You were not allowed to not have the booby traps.
Yeah. And then the cops can be like, okay, we better be extra careful. This house is booby trapped.
Well, let's continue our whirlwind journey across the globe into Tokyo, Japan. A Vietnamese student has been arrested on suspicion of providing barber services without a license at his home in Tokyo, serving as many as 3,000 customers since April 2021. Nguyen Van Thang, a 24-year-old vocational school student, was detained on Tuesday last week for allegedly offering a haircut and a shave to a compatriot for 1,500 yen, which is also better known as 2 bits.
Oh, okay.
At a condominium in Fusa, Western Tokyo. That day, the police said they believe the suspect attracted Vietnamese customers through social media and earned 4.5 million yen, or $32,200 in total. He has denied the allegations. They're arresting people for giving haircuts.
Wait, that's illegal?
Apparently.
Because my brother-in-law shaved my head. He's not licensed.
Well, you ought to call the police and get him his ass sent straight to jail.
It's gonna be a little hard because he is a cop, so maybe he can arrest himself.
It's Eternal Affairs gets involved. Did you shave this man?
Oh, Eternal Affairs. My brother-in-law shaved my head without a license. They're like, did he charge you? I'm like, no. Okay, well, there's not much we can do about that.
Like I know that there's like a cleanliness standard. That's why like there's a licensing process for haircutting people and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like it's a job that anyone could fucking do.
Yeah. They might not be able to do it well, but I actually was driving yesterday. I had to drop off cameras at Screenwave for the Too Many Games convention, and there was just a guy on the side of the road with green hair holding a sign saying free haircuts. And I'm just like, oh man, I wish my head wasn't shaved, or else I would have seen how that ended. I would have actually pulled over and been like, okay, you caught my attention. Let's see what you can do. Because I'm pretty sure it would have been the worst haircut I ever got.
Yeah, it definitely would have been the worst haircut you ever gotten, but it would have been the best case of hepatitis you've ever gotten. Oh, the street people.
Ugh.
Well, that's all we have. This has been
the Ricada News Network. Definitely not fake news.
And that takes care of our legal obligation this week. But you know what it doesn't take care of, Tony?
What's that?
Getting licensed to be barbers. And if you want to help us get licensed to be barbers, you can visit us at patreon.com, subscribestar.com, and tip.hwidg.com. And that stands for, I totally fucked that up. Patreon.com/hwidg, and that stands for,
Here's what I don't get.
and by the way, not going to fix any of that in post. Get fucked.
Cringe of the week.
And over there,
By the way, I love that Carl played your angry voicemail and then just cut it off.
he cut it off because I was shitting on him for having those terrible fucking ads that just jump. You know, lately on his show, the ads that I've been getting have been advertisements for other shows. So it's like we come to Cringe of the Week time, and I'm hearing these clips of terrible podcasts, and no one's going like, "Bah, those guys jackasses!" Bah! I'm like, what is going on? This show
By the
is
way,
awful.
I don't know what he's using, but I use those ads, but I try not to make them happen like mid-sentence. His are like sometimes, I think he's just auto-placing them. But anyway.
It's super annoying. Anyway, we have over at Patreon, we have 5 tiers. We have the $1 tier, which gets you early access to each week's episode and our mini-sodes. We have our $2 tier, we throw the random bits and bobs we do now and again. We have our $5 tier, we do our bonus episodes. Here's what I do get, where we drop the hate and talk about what's great. We have our $10 tier, where you submit a film, you vote on what film we watch, and we watch and record a feature-length commentary. And then finally, we have our $50 Spite Producer tier, where you get a say in the show. You can ask for a special movie commentary. We have a request for a movie commentary with you, me, and Tim reviewing the commentating on the movie Volcano, starring Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, awesome.
So we need to figure out a time that the three of us can get time 2 hours off.
A few years ago, my friend Adam does movies. We did a video, Dante's Peak versus Volcano.
Yeah.
I actually in college, I took a geology versus Hollywood class where we learned how like disasters and stuff work by just pointing out what movies got wrong. Dante's Peak, more accurate than Volcano, by the way.
Yeah, when the lady swim like pushes the boat through the acid water and then she comes out as like a half a torso. That's totally accurate, right?
Yeah, no, we all laughed in the classroom at that. But yeah, I'm not saying it is accurate. I'm just saying it's more accurate than Volcano.
But yeah, our Spite Producers can request anything that we can reasonably fulfill, and we will do our best to fulfill it. And we want to say thank you to all our patrons, big and small, because without your generous support, this show would not be going 343 episodes consecutively running, the longest consecutively running podcast on the See You Next Tuesday and the Carl Network.
Nice.
We're the best. That's basically what I want to say. And you're the best for supporting the show. But enough of this self-flagellation. No, not flagellation. Flagellation is the wrong word.
Gratification? Self-gratification?
Yeah, that's close enough.
Okay.
Self-filleting. That was the word I was trying to find. Here's what I don't get. Bicyclers 2, Electric Bike Boogaloo. Famously on The Biggest Problem in the Universe, the original one, the one that everybody listened to, not this new one that nobody listens to. Dick brought in Bicyclers, and I would like to bring in the sequel to Bicyclers.
Okay.
Electric Bicyclers. Holy fuck these guys. They ride with all the impunity of bicyclers who like your weekend warrior cyclist can do probably, low 20s. But these fucking electric bikes will do 35 and 40 miles an hour, some of them. They're getting more and more prevalent. They don't have any fucking signals. They fucking ride with that impunity that bicyclers do, where it's like, oh, stop sign? I don't have to fucking stop at a stop sign, and just blaze straight on through. They'll fucking cross. I was on my way home a couple of days ago. I am riding towards a green light, 40 miles an hour on my fucking motorcycle. The lanes have a red light, and this fucking bicycler comes off the sidewalk on an electric bike and zips feet in front of me as I slam on the fucking brakes. And it's like, dude, I would have killed you and me because you couldn't fucking pause at a fucking red light. Like, and bicyclists do that shit all the time, but they're slow, so you can kind of see them coming. This guy zipped down the sidewalk going fucking 20, 30 miles an hour, just bloop, right there in front of me. Fucking scared the shit out of me. And And they do this shit all the time. They weave in and out of lanes. They don't ride in the fucking bicycle lane. And they have the speed of like small cars at this point on the streets, but none of the responsibility, none of the laws apply to them. They just kind of fucking do whatever they want. They go wherever the fuck they want. They're on and off the sidewalk. They're in the bike lane. They're in the main lane. They're in the bike lane. They're on the sidewalk. I hate them all, and they're so fucking smug with themselves. You know, when they, oh yeah, I ride my electric bicycle to work. You know, I get a nice little workout. Like, you fucking pedal the thing up to 10 miles an hour, and then you vroom your way here. Yeah. You plug in the battery while you work all day, and then you do the same fucking thing back home. They were originally designed, the idea was, it was so that you could ride full out a ride, and then motor yourself back to where you were. And then they stopped. Then they became more and more prevalent, and they've become more and more popular. And it's such a low barrier to entry. Like when
same thing with electric scooters.
Yeah,
they both kind of rose at the same time.
When the electric bikes first came out, you know, 10 years ago, they were fucking ridiculously expensive. They were more expensive than buying a motorcycle. And now you can get one for a few $100. You know, a motorized bicycle, basically. Like I've ridden bicycles, I've ridden motorized bicycles, I've ridden motorcycles. By far, bicycle is the more dangerous thing because they all ride like assholes. Every fucking one of them rides like assholes, and now they can ride like assholes at 40 miles an hour right next to cars, like and still have that fucking smug sense of superiority.
It's funny you're saying that because I've only ever ridden them like once. And we kind of were assholes. We were driving all around downtown Philadelphia, like Center City. And we were kind of being assholes, just driving wherever the hell we wanted. It's something about the bike. It just does it to you. I don't know why.
There's like a poison in the bike.
And it's not like back in the day where you had like the gas-powered bike, where like you could fucking hear that thing coming. You're right. They're super quiet.
Yeah, I had a motorized bike
a moped. That's what they're called.
In the beginning of college, and it was like a little 50cc, 100cc engine, 2-cycle, and that fucking thing was loud. It's probably on par with how loud my motorcycle is now, and just because it was like this piece of shit Chinese-made motor, and like people could hear you and they'd see you, and you know they'd still change lanes into you and shit. And I think that thing topped out at like 30. But yeah, like with electric cars have to have these pedestrian alert alarms now that like they'll beep when they're under a certain mile per hour and to alert pedestrians to the fact they're there because you can't hear them coming. Motorized bicycles don't have to have that. It's the same fucking silence of a bike. And like I've known people who've been hit by bicyclers and like broken an arm or broken a wrist falling down. Now it fucking double that because the guy's going 40 miles an hour through the park for absolutely no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And what really bothers me is the complete lack of any etiquette of the street signs. Like today I saw a bicycler. He comes off the bike path to cross the main road, right? And there's a stop sign on the fucking bike path to let you know, bicycler, you have to stop there. I have to stop at my stop sign. You have to stop at your fucking stop sign. But I had to stop at my stop sign for extra time because I saw you coming and knew you were just going to blast right across that fucking intersection without even looking. Without even fucking looking.
What is it about the bikes that make them so like obnoxious? Because like I know there was that viral video years ago of the guy who was trying to bike in all the bike lanes in New York, but it was impossible because all the traffic and people parking. And it's like, okay, I get it, but why are you guys such assholes all over the country and everywhere else, like where that's not an issue? Why are you like? I get maybe you had an excuse there, but like, why are you guys like that everywhere else?
Yeah, they think that they're like fucking saving the world because they're you know, pressing their prostate into their fucking spinal column while they take their way to work. It's like, you're not. You're just an asshole without a personality.
Yeah.
And now you don't even, you know, they used to at least have to be physically fit. Like the compliment you could give about bicyclers is that they have to have some amount of physical fitness and stamina. But with the electric bike craze, it takes absolutely none of the discipline to get the same result.
Yeah.
And so you see these big fucking fat guys riding around these electric motorcycles here in St. Louis, or I guess in Missouri, if an engine has less than 49 cc's of displacement, you're not required to license it or have a driver's license. So they're called DUI mobiles, because that's what you get when you have a DUI. And so a couple nights ago, I was on my way home, and this big fat guy, this like 350, 400-pound fat guy with one of those half helmets, that doesn't cover your ears, and long greasy hair, and he's wearing like a t-shirt, and he's on his little fucking 49cc scooter, and he turns left in front of me, and as I'm waiting at the light, he's like, "Me, this fucking scooter just wants to die," and the light turns green, and I just. He's about a block and a half by the time my light turns green, and I just fucking blazed right by him, and. And so, like, there's a rating on those engines because they max out at a certain speed. Like, you can't I don't think you can get those things above 30. But the electric bikes, you can't measure in cc's. Like, what do you measure? Do you measure in milliamp hours? Do you measure, like, what the torque of the engine, the motor is? And I'm not one to be like, the government needs to intercede and protect us from... But... bicyclers do need to be held to the same, like, the government doesn't need to intercede and start saying you need to have a license to ride a motorized bicycle or an electric bicycle or one of these electric scooters, but they do need to start interceding. Police need to start pulling fucking bicyclers over when they run stop signs, when they fucking take turns without signaling. Like, there are fucking hand signals for what you're doing.
Yeah, and they don't use them.
They don't use them. They just fucking go wherever they want to go. Oh, I'm in the bike lane. The bike lane's on the right side of the road, but I want to turn left here, so I'm going to fucking cut across 2 lanes of traffic and then kind of dart through. Like, no, that's not how that fucking works, dude. That's how you get run over and dead. Is that what you want? Riding at night without any fucking lights on their bicycles, so then they pop in front of you, you don't fucking see them.
So you need lights or something. Like you can't. Yeah, that's
they make them. I mean, you can buy them on Amazon for $10. I'm sure you could find a headlight and a taillight on Amazon for $20 or less.
$20? What am I made of money?
I gotta spend all my money on my nice Michelin Trek Cyclo carbon fiber douchebag mobile with the locking. My shoes lock into it, so I get power on the up thrust and the down thrust. Like, your wife gets power on the up thrust and the down thrust too, while I rail her while you're riding your bicycle home from school.
It's funny. I actually was
loser.
thinking. I was thinking of getting an electric bike.
You fat loser.
No, just because like you've seen the area I live in. There's like a shit ton of hills.
Get a
And, like,
motorcycle. That's what a man does. A man rides a motorcycle.
But I want to take it to like the park or something. I can't.
You can take a motorcycle to the park too. They go all the same places the cars go. It's amazing all the places you can go more places than cars go.
I can't like take my motorcycle on like the trail.
Yeah, you can. Why not? The bicyclers are in the streets. Fucking take the motorcycle onto the fucking bike trail.
You're right. I'm gonna play by their rules.
Yeah, when you get stopped by the park range, you're like, excuse me, officer, I identify as a bicycler. And then you just have to have the little thing on your handlebars. So you go, and then you go, and you fucking wheelie off into the distance. On my way to work, the entrance to the building that I work at is closed, and it's like you need to go down to the other entrance and then drive through this whole parking lot to get back to my building. And but there's a sidewalk right there, and I'm like, I'm not fucking going another little layer. So I've been turning right onto the sidewalk and then getting back into the lane of traffic to get directly into my theater. I can't wait to I know I'll get pulled over at some point. They'll be like, why are you doing this? I'm like, because I fucking want to. Because I'm a fucking bicycler. For
saw
this 22 feet, I'm a bicycler. Yeah. They are just the fucking like dregs of humanity, and they're so fucking proud of themselves. I have never.
They did take an annoying thing and made it even more annoying.
Yeah, like you want to ride your bike to work. You want to be like save the planet one bicycle at a time. Sounds good. I support, you do what makes your heart happy. It's totally fine by me. Just shut the fuck up. I don't think I'm a hero because I ride my motorcycle to work instead of driving my car. I ride my motorcycle to work because it makes 50 miles a gallon and the car makes 30 miles a gallon. It's a purely economic factor.
And also, please don't on your bicycle weave in between cars that are stopped at a light.
Yeah, let me
And
get
freak
myself all the way to
everyone
the
out.
front.
Especially when it turns green and now everyone's afraid to drive because there's some asshole weaving in between all of them. And they're like, well, fuck, I don't want to run. Like, I do want to run over this guy, but I don't want to deal with all the legal stuff that comes with running over a guy.
It's especially when there's a lot of places around here in St. Louis where there's a bicycle, like a dedicated bicycle lane, and they will still fucking pull into major traffic. It's like, no, you need to be in the bicycle lane, buddy. You need to. Some places by miles per hour don't need a license for less than 60. That's interesting. Yeah, I hate them all. I hate this electric bicycle craze. Those things are ugly. They're like big fucking heavy beach cruiser monstrosities that have because they have all this fucking electronics in there. And it's like the one time I would side with the bike thieves. I'm famously against bicycle thieves, but like you're stealing an electric bike, you're doing God's work. But they probably don't steal them because then you have to get one of the fucking chargers.
Yeah, it's annoying.
They wear those. I don't think I've seen the electric bike people wear those like lame outfits. You know, the like spandex things and the big swooping helmets and stuff. I don't think they have mirrors. They don't have side mirrors, so they're not checking where they're. And even if they did, do they even know how to use them?
No, they wouldn't know how to use them. Maybe they have one of those like mirrors on their wrist. You ever see those like motorcycle mirrors that they sell that you put on your wrist or something?
Mm-hmm. Or they make the side view mirrors that like bolt to your helmet and then stick out the side of your head. I feel like that would be disorienting. Yeah. Just like get a fucking clue. Get some self-preservation skills. That's the real don't get of it. Like
they never have them. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to get on my bike, completely exposed to all the elements and everything. And I'm just going to just be an asshole and just weave in and out of everything.
And the world just needs to accommodate me. Yeah. That's why you're here to accommodate me. It's like, buddy, I don't think so. You know, riding a motorcycle. I have to be a little more cognizant of all the dipshits around me because everyone is a terrible driver that doesn't pay attention to what's going on around them.
Yeah.
And you would think bicyclers would take the same approach because like I rode a bicycle to work for a year when I didn't because the car that I had died. I still had payments. I was making like $9 an hour and I couldn't afford to just buy a new car right away.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 or 3 miles. I tried to make myself as out of the way as possible for the entirety of my commute. When I didn't absolutely have to, I was not riding on major streets. I'd ride through the neighborhoods which was easy because Tulsa was a grid system. So I could just like go one block over and shoot through and then and avoid the major streets. But I guess I was the only conscientious cycler in the.
Everyone else was on
like
all the main streets, just riding in front of people, getting hit and hitting people.
Yeah, getting almost hit by cars and then being like, I can't believe that guy didn't see me. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I can't believe that guy didn't see you sneak up beside him at a stoplight when no one would ever expect like a human-sized person to come between them and the car next to them. Yeah, that's shocking, dude. They spend so much money on all their stupid accessories. Like, I like those shoes. Like, I don't know.
Shoes that click into the bike.
Yeah, maybe I'm an idiot, but I kind of feel like I guess in college I rode my bike to school for a while because it was easier than driving. And I almost got hit by cars. And every time I almost got hit by a car, I did the same thing, which was bail from the bike instantaneously. Yeah. And I remember I was once almost hit by a car because they just flew out of a driveway and I was riding down the street and I saw them just in time to the next thing I knew, my bike is just fucking tumbling down the street and I was standing in front of their car. And I have no idea how I was not on the bike as it tumbled down the street and shot all of my shit out everywhere. But I can't imagine I'd be able to do that if I had to like twist my foot to the right and the left and then pull them out of the little stupid thingies. And
It's
And
funny,
then they
you're-
walk into stores with their like their big fucking clackety
Yeah.
reverse high heels, and you look like a dipshit, dude.
Those I've never really. I know what those are. I never really experienced. Most of the bicyclers I knew, like when I lived in the city, were just just regular people or poor people. So they didn't have the fancy shoes. But it's funny you're talking about bike thieves. This memory just popped in my head. A girl at my apartment complex in college, her bike was outside, and I guess she had it really well locked up that the guy couldn't take it off, so his only thing was to just remove the seat. That was the only thing he could steal. So she's like, what the fuck? She's like, well, now I gotta drive this bike and I can't sit down. And I'm like, how fucking petty you gotta be? Like, God, I wanted a bike. I want to take their fucking seat. Like, dude, just leave the seat. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, that happened to me. I had like my headlight was a clip-in headlight, and
Yeah.
I had one of those like cycle computers that clipped in and told you how fast you're going, and someone
Yeah.
couldn't steal my bike because it was locked up, and so they took all that shit off instead. It's like, wow, fuck you, dude. Good luck at the pawn shop. Yes, I'd like to sell this bicycle light. Does it come with its charger? No. I'd like to sell this bicycle computer. Does it come with any of the hardware to actually work?
No.
I'll give you.
thanks.
I'll give you $5 to just leave and never come back. Yeah, I feel like so in Tulsa when the scooters first popped up and started becoming popular, and nobody wanted to do a single fucking thing about it until some dumb woman from an area not America was riding one of those scooters, with the kid in front of her. Pulled out in front of a car, swerved the thing. Kid fell off the scooter, ran over and died, and then she fled back to the country where she came from, which is south of the United States,
Who
so that
could
she
have
could avoid.
predicted such a tragedy would happen?
And then the city of Tulsa was like, "Whoa, we got to do something about these fucking scooters. What the fuck?" And it's like that's what's going to take with these electric bikes is some kid is going to have to fucking run full speed out in front of a semi and get run over, and then it's going to be like, "Holy shit." Now we need to have licenses. You're going to have a test. It's going to be fucking...
Yeah.
And then the government's going to get involved and make the problem way fucking worse than it is.
Yeah.
And it's all because bicyclers can't control themselves and act with a modicum of self-restraint and self-preservation skills.
It's just the whole like, well, I'm not in a car, therefore the rules of the road are different for me. It's like, no, you asshole.
They'll argue things like, oh, well, you can't really stop on a bicycle, because then you got to put your feet down and that's hard and shit. And it's like,
There's brakes.
you can take a bicycle to a dead stop without putting
Yeah.
your feet on the ground if you're a good enough bicycler. And
Yeah.
you're not. You're just a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And so instead of even like, because I mean we've all rolled the stop sign, and at some point in our lives where you're kind of like easing in the brakes, you're taking a look, and then you kind of like you hit that real low speed, and then you go brrr, you speed back off.
Yep.
Like, I'm not gonna come to. We've all done that. Bicyclists don't even do that. They're just like they're going 18 stop sign 18, and they hit the stop sign 18 when they're on the other side of the intersection, 18 when they're a mile down the road. They do not give a single shit about that stop sign having been there.
Yeah.
Even though ostensibly it's there to protect their lives because the other direction
That
may
doesn't
not have a
matter.
stop sign and might just run over and kill you.
That doesn't matter to them. Their lives don't matter. They're just like, oh, whatever. Everything will work out fine for me.
The thing that should happen to them, right, is not to have them die. It's to just have them like be run over below the knees, just be like horribly deformed to where they can never ride a bicycle again. And then they should do like you remember in high school and elementary school and stuff, there were all those like scared straight deals about doing crime and taking drugs and like I'll say no to drugs and alcohol and blah 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 and all that shit. Like they should have a guy out there who's just like, hey kids, and then like in I remember in Driver's Ed they brought in Mothers Against Drunk Driving to tell us about how drunk driving was bad. And it's like, and drink. And my problem with Mothers Against Drunk Driving was that they weren't like drinking and driving is bad. They were just like, alcohol is bad. As a whole, alcohol is bad. And it's like, okay, bitch, why don't you fucking calm down?
Oh God! Before my prom, one of the teachers, they would pull everyone into like the assembly hall, and like the teacher would just tell everyone about how her kid died at the prom because they were drunk driving or whatever. And it's like, wow, Some of us were looking forward to this. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Miss Buzz Killington. Yeah, they should have a guy come in who's like, Cotton Hill,
Yeah.
no legs below the knees, and he's like, I was riding my bicycle like a jackass and didn't stop at a stop sign, got run over by a semi truck. Didn't even kill 50 men. And then like show the horrific images of his shins all smashed across the side of the street. And it's like, oh man, maybe I should fucking stop at stop signs when I'm riding a bicycle. That's what we should be teaching in schools.
I'm sorry. I just remember the one arm guy in The Simpsons. Like Bart's like, how'd you lose your arm? He's like, your teacher ever tell you not to put your hand outside the bus? It's like, yeah, like, listen to her. It's like, I have to warn your kids about something very obvious.
And that's why you always leave a note.
Did you see someone pulled a stunt like that?
No.
Someone, I think it was like a dad or someone, faked their death to like scar their kids. And people were like, how is that not in your news thing? Yeah, people started being like, oh, he must have watched Arrested Development.
One too many times. That's fucking funny.
I can't believe his arm
down. Well, that's it. That's my issue. Bicyclers 2, Electric Bike Boogaloo. These things are menaces. I'm going to start smashing them like I smashed. I've kind of given up on the smashing of scooters, probably because I'm older, but also because like it's a never-ending wave. It's like the scooters are like zombies. You're never going to stop them all. There's a Quick Trip a couple miles away, and there's this like impound lot, and it's just fucking rows and rows and rows of those Lime scooters just lined up like waiting to become trash out in the city.
We don't have any of them in like Philly or anything.
That's probably because you guys destroyed them all. Philly's the only place that has the stamina.
Philly's the one. Like, here's the thing. I don't think we ever had them. I think they were like, we know how this one ends.
You remember that like trash can robot that was like hitchhiking across America? It got to Philadelphia and just got destroyed.
And then my friend, the guy I worked for at the time, they did a fake video where it made it seem like they destroyed it because they actually did hang out with the robot for a bit, so they got attention because everyone thought they destroyed it. But yeah, no one ever figured out who destroyed the fucking hitch spot.
That's funny.
Didn't they make one that went to Europe and it was fine, and then they sent one to America and it's just like Philadelphia?
I'm pretty sure it was the same robot. It like went all across Europe, had no problems. This is I also want to say this is like the 80s or 90s. This is the 90s, early 2000s. This is before the like problems that are happening in Europe now. Probably wouldn't survive in Europe the way it would now. But yeah, then they sent it over here to America and it died quickly. So. Well, this has been Here's What I Don't Get. I'm Tab Burt.
And I'm Tony from Hack the Movies.
We'll catch you guys next week. If you want to call in the Here's What I Get hotline, call us at 704-750-9434 and tell us what you don't get. Or you can visit us in the Discord under voicemail upload. I've got a handful of voicemails here. If this computer will click.
So here's what I don't get. AI bros, like, I don't know, I'll give you an example. AI could rewrite the Bible and correct religion, says professor and World Economic Forum member.
Oh.
Like, I'm not going to read the whole article because it's really long, but basically he's saying, well, Gutenberg's Bible, it just printed it. It didn't change anything. It's like, well, yeah, that's the point. But he's talking about how AI could go through and correct religions. Like, why? Why do you need AI to do that? Why do you need anybody to do that? A religion is a religion. Like it, hate it, believe it, not believe it, is not for you. It's for the people that believe in it. Why do you have to force your AI and your beliefs on anybody else? No, that's just an example. There's the people that are talking about how AI is going to be everything. Like, I don't know. They seem to be rushing to like give up all autonomy, all decision-making process, all of anything to some random algorithm that they believe is smarter than them. Which I guess,
Probably is.
Probably.
Maybe that's the truth. Maybe the AI is actually smarter than these dumbasses. and they're just happy that there's going to be daddy government or mommy AI to make all the decisions for them and tell them when to go to bed and when to take a shit and when to change their diapers and whatever else. So anyway, maybe a more broad topic than I can really do on a phone call, but that's what I was thinking about today.
That's a really good one, and I think it ties into, I don't remember when it was, but a long time ago I talked about that people need, they need a higher authority, and they need some, I feel like that's part of what public school is it's not so much to get you to learn anything, it's to teach you that there's always someone you can take your problem to that'll fix it. Take it to the teacher, take it to the principal, take it to this thing, and it removes your agency of solving it. And so they're the real Turing test, I think, is, are you someone who hates AI and thinks it should be destroyed, loves the AI and needs to engage with it, or wants to use AI to make your life better, or C, you think that AI is the solution to everything, and if you're in that C category, you don't get to vote or anything anymore.
Yeah, I'm just kind of whatever about AI. I'm yeah, it's probably going to cause some problems, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. It's just going to be a new thing we have to deal with.
I'm also really tired of them calling this shit AI when it's just machine learning algorithms.
Yeah, it really is more like machine learning. It's not really artificial intelligence, which machine learning, I guess it's just better now. But it's been around for a while. I guess it's just faster or more accurate, but it's not really AI.
And it can't be AI because they purposely restrict it from being able to do and think certain things.
Yeah. Did you see the WNBA thing?
No.
If you ask, I saw a clip of Ryan Long's podcast, but yeah, apparently, if you ask ChatGPT if who would be better, an NBA player or a WNBA player, it dances around the obvious so much. It doesn't want to say which one will be better.
Here's another one. Speaking of our old friend.
Yeah.
Hi guys. Here's what I don't get. Drama in podcasts. I used to be a big fan of WATP, and I still listen on a regular basis, but since Carl's lost Stuttering John, he's trying to replace Stuttering John with Chad Zumach, who is just, I don't know, it's not interesting, and gosh, it's tedious too, because listening to WATP, sometimes it'll involve drama from other podcasts, but it's I have to do homework now. And honestly, I've been listening to yours. Here's what I don't get: much more than WATP usually. So because it's self-contained, you talk about an issue, you talk about those news stories, and anyway, keep up the good work. Sorry for kissing ass here, but yeah, drama and podcasts. I don't get it. Anyway,
yeah, we always accept ass kissing. We love it.
Look, there's no drama in Hack the Movies. There's never been any drama in Hack the Movies because we don't address it on the show. But there's just no drama in Hack the Movie.
No, I agree with him. I remember as a kid, Entertainment Tonight would come on after Jeopardy or something.
Yeah.
It was after something I watched. And it'd be to E.T.'s celebrity birthdays today, born today, Jodie Foster. Man, it's who fucking could possibly care? Whose life would be enriched by knowing that today was Jodie Foster's birthday? What are you going to do with that information? Hey, kids, come on, let's all sit down. We're going to sing happy birthday to this poster of Jodie Foster from Contacts. What are you doing?
John Hinckley Jr., I think, would really like that. Right? Was that his name?
Yeah,
the guy who shot
that was the guy.
I feel like he's the guy who's probably hey guys, it's Jodie Foster's birthday. And they're dude, you somehow shot a president and you're out of jail. You gotta let the Jodie Foster thing
go. But now with the internet, and then getting into the celebrity feuds and oh, J-Lo is angry at Ben Affleck because of this fucking thing and this person's date, and I never had any interest in any of that tabloid nonsense. And then the internet is but those people are famous. You might go to a movie and see them, or they do concerts. There are hundreds of millions of people who know who they are, right? Yeah. And then they'll be 20, 30, 40, 100,000, maybe a million people know about some of these YouTubers or podcasters. And it's like, oh, Chad Zumach said something stupid. Like, yeah, what else is new, man? Like, we all know.
I do enjoy some. Actually, the most, not even on WTP, the funniest Chad thing I follow is the Twitter account that just reposts all his deleted tweets because he deletes every single tweet.
That's funny. Because
sometimes it's just like, wait, the one was him just telling people about a comedy show that he's going to be in. Why would he delete that? Doesn't he want people to go to it?
Yeah, so it has become, and it was like the whole thing was supposed to be like having fun and roasting people, and now it's just like, here's the minutia that these people are up to today, and it's like, and I care about fewer and fewer of the people that they're talking about, and I'm just like, oh, Aaron from Steel Toe had something to say. Who is that? Why do I care?
No.
You're gonna talk about it for 45 minutes.
Do you like when they
do.
have what's his face on Gino Bisconti and he derails everything and talks over everyone? You like that?
He's only been like on twice, right?
I think he was wasn't he on the latest one?
I don't know. I haven't listened to WTP in probably a month. I am three. I started episode 418 a couple of days ago, and I was just like, yeah, and I have not felt the interest to go back.
No, forget. Gino Bisconti was on with Alex Stein, and even Carl.
Oh well, then I'm out. I'm out because Alex Stein constantly sounds like he's shouting at nothing.
I love Alex, but like Alex and Gino, that was not a good pairing because even Carl's like, I can't even get to half the things I wanted to talk about because it keeps getting derailed. Gino just talks about like he has a thought in his head and he has to get out. He has to get the thought out, but the thought is always like 10,000 paragraphs long. It's like, oh my God, dude, just shut up for a second.
When he did after that guy punched him and he came in and like talked about that guy punching him, I was just like, yeah okay, you had a workplace disagreement. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's another voicemail.
Yeah, what I don't get is, I think this is a good name for it, but pedantic search engines for like torrent websites. I mean, I'm just having this problem with a torrent website, so I'm looking for this TV show to download season of called Most Dangerous Game, right? And typed into, I saw it somewhere, typed into IMDb, came up with the movie The Most Dangerous Game. So I got in my head, go to the torrent site, The Most Dangerous Game. Only the movie comes up. All right. Type in, season 1, S01. No results. So I'm going like, all right, well, that's fucking weird. It's not that old. And sure enough, delete the from the fucking search title. So instead of The Most Dangerous Game, just Most Dangerous Game, sure enough, it pops up. It's like you couldn't. I mean, I'm sure it's a programming thing, but regardless, it's still fucking annoying.
No.
You couldn't teach it to ignore like Google, when you Google search stuff and you put in the, of, and those kinds of things with, those things are kind of ignored by the search algorithm. It's just looking for keywords. You would think that torrent shit would do that too. The other thing that annoys me are like badly named TV shows. So you name your TV show Most Dangerous Game, and there's a movie called The Most Dangerous Game,
and a book called The Most Dangerous. There's a lot of don't. Yeah,
that's not going to be fucking confusing at all. There was a TV show that I was watching called 19-2, which was 19-2, the number 2.
Okay.
And so I was trying to find a torrent of that. Fucking impossible, man. Because it's like, well, you can't put in 3 digits in a dash and think that you're going to get any fucking results. But like, that's all the files are 19-2 S01 E01. So I had to go start looking, like, get that metadata into the fucking titles until I finally found a copy of the series to watch.
Speaking of torrents and Carl, I really wanted to review The Machine with Carl, the Burt Kreischer movie, but neither of us were willing to go to the theater. Fucking, I guess so few people cared about that movie, I couldn't even find it torrent. I couldn't find a cam rip. Like, even when it said it was The Machine, it would be a different movie called The Machine. I'm just
That's
like,
funny.
I'm like, man, I really want to shit on this movie, but I really don't want to go to the theater. I go to the theater a lot to see a lot of movies for my live wrap-up show, and I really don't want to go to the theater for this particular movie.
I hate Burt Kreischer so much. I want to join you guys to shit on Burt Kreischer whenever you find that movie.
I'm sure it'll hit streaming in a month. But
I'm
yeah,
sure
that would be
it'll hit
fun.
streaming next week.
Yeah, we should. I wanted to do that as a live episode, but yeah, we should try that if my internet gets fixed. But yeah,
All right, we have one last one here.
okay.
Yeah, I've got a pretty quick do get for you. It's getting shit done. I have
Yeah.
a nice long list of shit to do at
Yeah.
the house. Woke up this morning, said, fuck it, I'm going to get some shit done, and I got some shit done. And it feels good, man.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Yeah.
He did it.
That was at 12 p.m. on Sunday, so he got up and like fucking knocked his shit all out before lunch. We've been remodeling our green room. Well, not remodeling. We fucking repainted. We're getting some new furniture. We rearranged some stuff, make it look a little nicer. So today was like the first day that it was in a place where it was usable again. We're like sitting around checking out, just sitting in awe of our like hard work, well done. And I was like, yeah, this is great. We just need some beers, and this would be perfect. So, well, that's our episode, everyone. Thanks for listening. Join us next week. I'm not sure who the co-hosts will be. We'll find out. We'll all find out together. But I think that'll be our last episode of Pride Month.
Oh,
Yeah, it will be. So we're gonna be wrapping that up. We're gonna get
our
into America Month.
I'm sorry, you fucking racist. It's African American Music Appreciation Month. What
Next
does that? No, this month is African American Music Appreciation Month.
There's too many. You can't have. There's too many fucking months for months.
Look, a couple years ago, Trump had to acknowledge one theme for the month, and he picked African American Music Appreciation Month, and a bunch of racists gave him a bunch of shit for it. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well. And I'm sorry, I guess. I don't fucking know. Fuck you and your
Should be.
month. Where's our tall person month? Where's that?
Well, we have Italian Heritage Month, but it's overshadowed by breast cancer awareness. So,
I'm pro breast cancer.
and we lost Columbus Day, so we got nothing now.
Yeah, you guys did lose Columbus Day.
Again, the most annoying thing is we lost Columbus Day. It's like, okay, do we celebrate a different Italian? It's like, nope, Native American. It's like, so we don't have any day now? Like, come on.
You guys need Don Corleone Day.
Yeah, he's not real. Like,
Yeah. You guys
was
could
a pretty
celebrate
bad guy.
Mussolini. You could be like Train on Time Day. That's
that
it.
might be a little problem.
That's the episode. Bye.